because I have someone very important from the world of business right here, right now. I want this interface to happen. And who better than Adi Godrej to be there with you, Amitabh? And Adi Godrej is not just one of the most experienced legends in Indian business. He's also, on occasion, been openly critical of his expectations of the government not matching up. So my question to you is, Mr. Godrej, good afternoon. Arnab here. I hope my audio line is clear to you, Mr. Godrej.
Good afternoon.
What's your take?
Yes, it is.
You know, we've done a lot of good now. We reset the fiscal deficit. Government's ready to spend more. DDT is gone. Foreign sovereign funds at lower cost. There's a reset for startups, reset for NBFCs coming in, plus bold moves on IDBI, LIC. Are we moving in the right direction now?
We are moving in the right direction, but unfortunately the steps taken are relatively small. For example, personal tax rates have been reduced, but that's provided you forego the exemptions. This doesn't make sense because that's not a reduction, that's a substitution.
Amitabh Kant, Adi Godrej says
I think
that the tax slabs being cut is not a reduction, it's a substitution because you take away the concessions.
Yeah, so important thing, Arnab, to realize is that you can't have it both ways and say that I want all the concessions in the world and I want a low tax regime. I mean, what the country should have is one tax regime, and that should be a low tax regime. Actually, there should be no concessions to my mind. And India should ask for the most progressive low tax regime, and that is what the government has tried to do in corporate tax, both indirect and direct tax. And I think we should do away with the other tax regime, which provides hundreds and hundreds of exemptions across the world. There's no need for it, according to me.
Mr. Godrej, Amitabh Kant, one of the senior most bureaucrats of the Modi government, says to you in response to you can't have it both ways. You need a low tax regime, you need high compliance, you can't have multiple zillion concessions going on the side as well.
No. Here's the question of the exemptions which were there, for example, for housing investments, insurance. So you have to give up all the exemptions, only then will you be able to enjoy the lower tax rates, which I don't think is right.
No.
Adi,
what the budget says is Adi, what the budget says is that you can opt for a lower tax regime, and the lower tax regime is very different from the budget rates which were prevailing before this, subject to you're not taking exemptions. Now you want to have a lower tax regime and you want to have all the exemptions which were provided for, hundreds of tax exemptions which were provided for, and yet you want a lower tax regime. I don't think that's the right approach. What we should do is make the tax system less complicated and do away with all the exemptions and provide for the lowest and the least complicated tax regime we should have. That's what the country should ask for.